Hi everyone, it's Laura at Hyperstamper. I just finished this beautiful antique junk journal, and this is an antique book that I've added lots of bits and bytes to. So I've added antique book construction pieces here from the interior spines. I have these beautiful antique postcards. This one is French, and that is from the 1930s. And this one here is from probably around 1905, and that is Holyrood Palace in Edinburgh, Scotland. So those go in this little pocket here that I made out of those spines there. And I like the postcard image, so I have that facing forward. You can do it any way you like. This here is a vintage pin with some beads hanging down, and then I made these flowers out of antique paper, and this is an antique book page up here. I just loved the title of the page. I've got vintage doilies here and here, and yeah, this pretty original oval on the actual book. And then I've got my vintage spine, or my vintage bangle. Sorry, I'm just gonna leave that there for a minute. Fiddle. And I've got these gorgeous beads and this vintage earring down at the bottom. Isn't that fun? Just great. You can remove that too if you like. But let's take a little look on the inside of this very, very beautiful junk journal. This is a vintage ledger page here, and vintage children's book page, which I just adore. This is from the Dick and Jane series, two other little children in that series. And here I have a vintage recipe page. Isn't that great? Look at that. Cream puffs and beverages. And then this, I was going to erase all of these. I have a really good eraser that I used to take off pencil marks, but this was probably like 100 years old. Some little child tried to frame this beautiful picture of Athens, and that's the Acropolis there. And just a lovely antique plate. I think it's stunning, the colors in it. And over here is a plate from 1920s Beatrix Potter book. And this one is just wonderful. It's got the goose and Mr. Fox there. And you can journal on the back of that if you choose. And this came from a 1927 My Book House series. And that is Cinderella and the pumpkin there. Antique paper on the back for journaling, so you can put that in the pocket there. This is a lovely plate, the angel and the whipped coward, and just stunning. So that's the center spread there. This came from a 1953 yearbook, and it's the Canteen Committee. Look at the hair and the fashions. Love it. That's just from a vintage magazine advertisement and a vintage dictionary page, some fun clusters, vintage school book paper, and more of that Dick and Jane. You can see here. And then this is a fun pocket I made from a 1955 stamp collector's book page, and this here is from a 1947 Fashions of the Through the Ages book. Look at this, Italian Renaissance. Look at these hats and headpieces and these dress costumes. Not costumes, but that was their dress. I love it. I'm so in love with this book, and I still have some pages left to share. This is from the 1920s Flinch game, and that is the #1. I can change that out for whoever orders it. Oh, I forgot to show this one. This is one of my favorite things, a Panama dress fastener from the 1920s. Indestructible. And that may be true because this is 100 years old and they're in perfect condition. More ledger paper here from the 50s, 1950s embroidery book page. And this is a 1940s iron-on transfer here that you would have put on your linens to embroider a pattern. And then this is just a little botanicals, vintage botanical book pages booklet there. 1955 Highways Road Maps of America, and this is a pressed flower here on a vintage dictionary page, and that is a 1930s bookkeeping book on how to bookkeep. This is an antique piece here, and it looks brand new. It looks like I just photocopied it, but it's actually, I've got the original box that they came in. It was just never opened, so they're pristine. You can put that at the beginning of your journal if you like, or just enjoy it. It's the 1937 school book page that a student had. And this is just some wonderful antique papers and vintage papers that I turned into a journaling tag and made the pocket out of vintage doily. And there's that plate again there from the bookkeeping book. Alaska from that highway road map, and Wyoming on the other side there. This is just another embroidery book page. Another fun, if you like cats and wildcats. This is a great page from the 30s. 1950s doily book, how to make doilies. And then this here is another one of my wonderful baby cards from the 1950s. Sorry, I'm late, and I always recommend people open them up. Can I open this one? This one is, oh, somebody has glued this one shut, and I know why, because there's a ribbon on it, so they glued it shut, but you can journal on the back or just enjoy it the way it is. Regift it. How cool would that be? 1950s Pearl Shop receipt, 1970s magazine page for Fashion Magazine. Look at, I love how the pages have discolored over the last 55 years. Just fantastic. There's some doilies there. This is from the 1920s. It is 2 world maps here. One's for temperature and one's for heat. I bet that's changed over the last 100 years. Accordion and amplifiers. Wow, that is aged. So fun here. This is from a vintage bird book, Birds of America. And then you can journal up in here. I love the discoloration here. This is from the 1850s, this book page here. And this is a 1950s original bingo card that you can journal on as well, or just have fun with it. More journaling space up here. And another wonderful 1940s children's book page from a school book. And this is from a vintage bird book. Another one, different one, and this is the red-tailed hawk on one side and the osprey on the other. Magnificent, majestic birds. And here's some vintage book pages that I turned into journaling cards here. And the pockets out of another 1930s children's book page. And this one's from the 1940s. And another little spot here that you can tuck a little treasure into if you like. And then this one I love, Teenagers. This is from Folk and Country magazine, and that is from the 1950s, August 15th. Look at these great covers. Oh, I just love it, and all the different songs. Oh, so fun to look at. And oh my gosh, just a real treasure. This is a vintage music page here. Could even be antique. This is from the 1800s, 1895. Look at these wonderful images here and advertisements. This here I found, it fell out of one of the vintage cards I had. It was just this piece of an American dollar bill, and I looked it up, and this is from the 20s and 30s, this dollar bill. And that's all that's left of it. So I didn't glue it all the way down so you could flip it over and see the beautiful design on both sides. I just thought that was really cool. I find the coolest things inside books and things. This is from a 1955 Betty Crocker cookbook, and that was the pastry and pie tab. More blank antique book pages for journaling, vintage children's book pages. That one's from the 30s. And this is the end page from an antique book, and that is from the dust cover of a vintage book, Memories wall. So you can journal on there. And then this is from a hand-typed research paper from 1887. This is a plate, very cool plate, just a piece of art there, and journaling spot on the back. And then I wrapped this around to make another pocket over here, and I've got a vintage page on antiques, all about antiques. And then this one is a 1937 5-year diary page blank, so you can write in it, September 3rd and 4th. So I hope you love this as much as I loved making it. It's going in my Etsy shop now, hyperstamper.etsy.com. Come back soon, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye for now.